Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another podcast. We are the Salty Boys, and this is episode 2. We will be doing another creepypasta.
Spoopy Scary Skeletons.
You ready, everybody?
Well, boy, I'd say I'm ready too, John. Let's go, John.
You ready? Yeah.
I'm ready, Freddy.
Halloween is my saving grace. The one night a year I can go outside without a mask. I don't want it to sound like I spent all year waiting for this day, just willing away the hours with bated breath and anticipation. I would like to say that I have other interests, that I'm able to find myself so engrossed in some human activity that I actually forget about the one day I can truly be myself. But this would be a lie. It's an uncommon hour that I go without thinking about the 31st of October, that glorious night when I can step out into the cool air and almost, just almost, feel human. The last Halloween was perhaps my favorite. My favorite day hasn't been the same since this area became occupied, since the human beings with their warm skin and their innocent minds began constructing ramshackle dwellings within this imaginary borders of what was once mine. When I say it wasn't the same, I'm speaking quite literally. My favorite day was a different day before the humans came. Back then, when I referred to as simply my day, took place once every year on what the humans know as October 23rd. A day of great power, when the walls between the physical and the supernatural grow thin and malleable. Evil was released into the world on the 23rd of October. Although such designations as months were many centuries from their creation. An insane, power-hungry beast managed to doom her entire species on that day, on October 23rd, many hundreds of years ago. I often wonder what the world might have been like if she hadn't committed the ultimate mistake. It's irrelevant, I always end up telling myself.
Irrelevant.
Because I wouldn't exist. Unlike the naive human beings who roam the streets in their speeding cars and make screaming love to one another in their shoddy homes. I have been blessed with a natural intuition, allowing me to always understand how far in time we've drifted since our last cycle began. It is this sense that allows me to know the current year as 6020. In human years, I believe that would be 2016. Anno Domino are the words they use, words from an ancient language, ancient by their standards. But I digress. It was the Halloween of 6019, or 2015, that was my favorite. My dad had always been the 23rd of October. When I was alone here, I would slip out to the surface and enjoy the rush of power as I was joined by my fellow creatures of the night. I would walk aimlessly and without direction as the others whipped around me. Some were burdened with deformed, hellish shapes, cursed to roam in the shadows of the earth, safe from humanity's leering eyes. Others were no more physical than the wind itself, and only visible to my eyes, because of the power that courses through every living creature on the night of the 23rd. Still, others were beyond form, beyond comprehension, no more than forgotten memories, drifting from mind to soul, despairing in their acceptance of eternal suffering. Some have believed that I may end up like them. I have no intention of proving them right. When the humans came and settled down, they scared away my friends. Any human child would find the notion ridiculous, an army of the supernatural, the nightmare of the most disturbed, frightened away by innocent human beings. But it happened this way. The humans didn't come alone. They brought their single most disturbing, most wicked power of all. The power of denial.
That's stupid.
You're stupid.
No, you're stupid.
No, you're not. Continuing.
Whipping them with a belt in the back. Wow!
Human children spend their time wondering what it would be like to share the powers of their fellow creatures. Wings like a bird, perhaps, or the sharp teeth of a dog. They don't understand that they already possess the most powerful gift of all. Through their human denial, they are able to stare us directly in the eyes and inform us that we don't exist. My friends were terrified of the human gift. They believed that we, as agents of the supernatural, would not be allowed to exist on this mortal plane without the consent of the human beings. Without their belief, we would vanish, become nothing. So they fled. They left my home and went to find a new world, one where humans were scarce or non-existent, where they could expose themselves once a year on October 23rd, reveling in their annual powers without interference from those who may destroy them. They thought I was a fool for claiming this land as my own. I am not a fool. I know that the humans rule my world now. I know that I've been reduced to a shadow. No, to less than a shadow. But I did not abandon my home. For that, I will not apologize. It was many years ago that the first humans came to settle in my home. They built their home uncomfortably close to mine. I watched them as they worked, staying hidden beneath the ground, marveling at how their species had progressed since the last time I saw them. My day came a month after the first humans were settled in. I'd spent some time worrying over what might happen. I was not paranoid enough to abandon my home, but I wasn't immune to my friend's terror of humanity. When the time came, I waited. I watched the human dwelling until all the windows were dark, and when they were, I waited longer still. Finally, I left my home and began walking, my destination unknown but far away from the house. I was meant to feel exhilaration, the sheer ecstasy of being closer than ever to the joining of two worlds. But what I felt was nothing. There was nothing in the air, nothing moving just beyond the spectrum of the physical world. I felt the cold night prickle against my skin, and the corpse's hand of darkness caress the back of my neck.
Ew. What is it gonna do? Like, kidnap him? Oh, hello, little one.
There was no one riding through the air to greet me, no one crawling up from beneath the ground to wish me a happy My Day. I returned to my home that night, disheartened and full of regret. My day was over, and I had failed to squeeze any semblance of pleasure from its dark hours. I felt as though I had failed, as if something I had done prevented me from enjoying this once glorious day. And perhaps I had made a mistake. Perhaps I should have followed my friends away from this now tainted land, to an untouched world where humans were nothing but a harmless legend, with nothing but regret and disappointment inside me. I slept. I was woken by a sound I knew, but was not used to hearing. Children's laughter. 8 days had come and gone as I slept. I had vaguely wondered on the possibility of sleeping through the entire year, giving myself a chance of reliving my day as quickly as possible. But this idea was thwarted by the children who played above my home. I watched them, careful to remain invisible to their innocent eyes. What I saw confused me. There were 2 children, one male and one female. I'd seen them before, of course. They lived in the human house with the 2 adults, I presumed to be their parents. The girl and the boy had played outside before, often very close to my home, but never had I seen them dressed in such an eccentric way. The little girl wore a dress of all black with sleeves that hung down past her small hands. A black hat rested on her head, its brim round and its top pointed like the beak of a crane. For the boy it was a fancy suit of shiny black material, complete with a red waistcoat and a flowing cape. I recognized his attire as similar to that of humans. I had known many centuries earlier, but why he would be reliving the wardrobe of his dead ancestors was beyond my grasp. Their clothes were unusual, yes, but it was their faces that confused me the most. The girl's face had been painted a bright green color, closer to an emerald than to grass. Dark lines had been added, making her smooth face appear wrinkled and far older than it was. The boy's face had been painted white, with 2 lines of red running down his chin. When he opened his mouth to laugh, I saw that 2 of his teeth seemed to have grown larger and more pointed. I watched them.
This is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the thing is. I think it's a zombie, but I'm not so sure.
Of this thing?
Yeah.
I don't know either.
I know there's one of a witch and one of a vampire, though.
Yeah, but those are their costumes. I think this is an actual demon. Like, obviously it's an actual demon.
Yeah, and I think he's like, what the heck? Did I just, like, go to another dimension or something?
Yeah.
Because, like, oh, man, a demon on Halloween, that's, like, the scariest thing you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Because not many people will believe because it's Halloween, kind of like April Fool's.
Yeah.
Say if you're getting choked to death by a orangutan, not many people will believe you.
Where did you come up with that?
Oh, no.
We have a few minutes, so I'll continue on for a little bit. I watched them for many minutes as they played in my grass. Their behavior was odd, unlike that of any humans I had known before. Unlike themselves, in fact. At one moment, the boy appeared to bite into the girl's neck. Rather than scream, she let out a giggle and ran away. I'm just gonna stop there.
Okay, yeah, let's just stop there, everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go. Okay, we'll make a second one. Yeah.
We'll make a part 2, everybody. If you can't tell, it's gonna escalate very much.
Ah, you hit my... oh, that hurt.
It did.
Yeah, you hit my no squares.
Well, everybody, thank you for listening, and look forward to the next podcast.
Have a good day, everybody.